Was that? A customer service representative. You know, someone whose job it is to make people miserable.
You can get paid to make people miserable?
All these years I've been doing it for free.
It's time to be a chef for you guys. Some of you guys have been here for a long time. So you know what? Let me give back to you. You wanna know what's on the menu today? Well, the special soup of the day is turtle soup, made specifically from this gentleman here. This evil man is the most diabolical being in the Looney Tunes show. And I saw Daffy the Wizard. What makes him evil? Let's check it out. Also, look at my amino. So it starts off with a basketball game, where one side was completely open to dunk. They go on to say that these are two balanced teams in the playoffs. However, that's either a lie, or the defense on both teams are complete garbage. All Bugs wants to do is watch the big game, and Daffy, well, he just wants to find a dream job. A job that not only calls out for him, but complements his complex personality. It is then when we meet the spawn of Turtle Satan himself.
Good morning, Julie. Do you know why I'm smiling? Because it's Monday. And that's the day I randomly select one of our customers and turn off their cable.
So this terrible shell of a man picks a random customer to mess with, remotely turning off their cable like a coward, and Julie's having none of this nonsense and wants to be an honest woman and work the right way for her pay. We'll get back to Julie later. So because Bugs wants to watch the game, he, by the nature of luck, can't. And the torture begins. Cecil, the name of the turtle, uses this voice processor to pretend to be an automated message system, both stalling and intentionally not understanding Bugs' very clear phrases that his cable is out, and that he does not want to terminate his cable package. What makes this extra slimy is that his voice is so calm. I'd like to imagine that he's been doing this for a while, but even if he hasn't, he's clearly as comfortable to do it as Bugs was going to be watching the big game. Look at the way he smugly drinks coffee and looks forward to this day. I'd kick this coward, and I wouldn't even be afraid of PETA. They're activists for animals, not pieces of crap. So in addition to intentionally getting the name of Bugs Bunny incorrect, two words that are in the dictionary, mind you, he blatantly hangs up on him. And when Bugs calls back, he also generously offers to send over a technician tomorrow.
Tomorrow? The game's on now! Can't you press a button and turn my cable back on?
Do you really think I can just turn your cable on and off with the click of a mouse?
Look at this twerp. He doesn't even need to hover his mouse over the on and off button. It's not Skype. Bugs can't see him. He takes so much pleasure in other people's misery. But putting a pin in that, I do appreciate how Daffy subtly tells Bugs to not be so hostile, as many people may be turned off by that kind of approach. It's a great hint into the C plot, which yes, there is another plot here besides Bugs's, and it's all beautifully interwoven, including Daffy's pursuit of his dream job. This is nothing new, as the Looney Tunes show, having 22-minute episodes, is one of my favorite examples of a show executing gold and showing each and every time that they deserve that time slot. Daffy finds his dream job, a job where he can make people miserable. That's a job that he's done for free and enjoyed it. And as the saying goes, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Well, Daffy is about to learn that that's not exactly true. So, C-plot, we're introduced to Tina and later Lola, as Tina looks very tired, busy, and stressed, and has to juggle the ridiculousness of Daffy and his resume, Lola and her wanting to scan her hand for a palm reader, and this guy who needs 100 copies.
Excuse me, miss?
Hey, Jellybean knows. There's a customer in front of you. Maybe if you needed 100 copies of whatever, you maybe should have gotten here earlier.
Which font? Old West or Triberica?
Hello? I need 100 copies of this.
I said, give me a minute.
Now, the first time I watched this, I thought Tina was being a little too overdramatic, and even now, I don't think she should have went that hard on the guy. But at the same time, this dude would much rather create arguments than get whatever he needs done. Unfortunately, she's on hours and her manager sees everything, including the part where she says, I mean, she doesn't say this word for word, but my inner Tina can translate. She says that he's gonna catch 100 hands if he keeps trying to rush rush these 100 copies. Imagine this guy trying to rush a doctor while giving him surgery. And look at him trying to walk away sadly, like you didn't just step in front of a customer. Get out of here, dude. Tina's manager ends up suspending Tina because he feels like her hostility isn't best for business. So where will she learn to be less hostile and more accepting and friendly?
You wanted to take me to the mall so that I'd see what it's like to be on the other side of the counter. Next time I'm dealing with a customer, I'll be friendly and remember that in the end, we're all just people. Right?
No, I just wanted to get some new lip gloss.
Tina would go all throughout the day, seeing Lola essentially be inconvenienced, whether as minor as being involuntarily sprayed with perfume, or as major as getting her food order wrong. And she'd learned that while she cannot control the people around her, she can control her reactions, and thus learns from the master of controlling her reactions, Lola. Lola is as fantastic as she normally is in many episodes, being very funny and very aloof, but also meaning well, and never coming across as careless to other people's detriment. Meanwhile, poor Bugs has to wait between the hours of 8 AM and 6 PM for a technician, as apparently Cecil can't narrow the time down to something more specific, but he assures Bugs he's trying to offer him quality service. I do enjoy how accurate this episode is to portraying the many common annoyances that come along with trying to cooperate with customer service. We'll get into why none of that ruined this episode later. Of course, the one time that Bugs gets up and leave because he has to do something else is the time when Cecil comes to his front door with the "Sorry, we must have missed you" notice on his door. That cruel, vile Chelonian. So Daffy, in a nod to a few episodes, is noted to have been a hairdresser, a marine, and the CEO of a major company. All of these being episodes, and in fact one of these episodes I covered, the marine one. He gets to be a customer service supervisor. Bugs gets to speak to Daffy, who also mispronounces his name, and since Daffy has zero idea how the tech works, which was shown to us to be a simple on and off switch mind you, he decides to do the following.
I'm going to transfer you to one of my customer service representatives. Don't put me back on with...
Hello.
Isn't there anything you can do to turn my cable back on?
You ever notice that this whole time, Bugs is trying to give Cecil the benefit of the doubt? He hasn't been the snarky sort of Bugs that we see. He hasn't been that to the guy, at least on the phone, when you can hear him. And even now, while clearly thinking that something is going wrong here, he's begging with the guy to help him out. Just listen to the sharp contrast between Bugs' impatient tone, nearly going insane, and Cecil's very calm and smug tone. It's maddening. Now I should say, all the playful hate from me to Cecil aside, I actually really enjoyed Cecil as an antagonist here, and it's a shame that he doesn't get many episodes in the series. If I were to review the Looney Tunes show again, one of the episodes on the table would have to be the follow-up to this episode, and his newfound rivalry with Bugs Bunny, because that's the only episode that features Cecil in a major way that I've found. So after resetting Bugs' cable package down to the bronze package, which has one channel,
How is one channel a package?
I don't know, Bugs, stop stepping over my lines. Anyway, he relays the generous information to Bugs that he must have the gold package to watch the basketball game. And after pressing a grand total of, and I did count and I recounted, 1, 2, 0 buttons, he cannot upgrade Bugs, keeping him on the Spanish soap opera. Did somebody say Spanish? Because Speedy is now in the episode. At first, it appears that he's above watching soap operas, but this episode surprises you by having him be the biggest fan to this specific one. So Daffy, who only wants to make people miserable in this episode, fires people as a supervisor. And aren't we glad he didn't become a farmer like he almost wanted to? Famines are pretty brutal. He fires Julie and warns Cecil to be back by 2:30 or he's fired. Meanwhile, Tina tries to paint the earlier frustrating scenario in Lola's head, and being Lola, she twists it back into it being about Bugs. And in addition to the intentionally cheesy soap opera that Speedy closed his entire business down for the day to watch, we get this intentionally cheesy scene.
Well, hello there, customer. Can I help you?
That depends. What are you doing for the rest of your life?
Maybe I'll go back to college.
Forget all that. Marry me.
Customer!
Say yes.
Yes, yes! I'll be Mrs. Customer!
Of course, because of her warped perception, she actually does end up telling Tina something reasonable. It leads into Tina thinking that her job may not be as suitable to her as she thought. It's both this plot and Bugs' plot that brings the concept of customer service together, as we get to see both ends of the situation, from two perfectly entertaining scenarios. So Bugs does what he does best. Comically inconvenience someone who's trying to wrong him. What really ties everything together is that he's been pushed to do this. Had he went straight to this from call 1, he'd be perceived a little bit differently in this episode. So whether as the coffee shop barista or as the elevator operator at Cecil's job, he drops hints, putting Cecil in the shoes of the people that he's inconvenienced, and seeing his panicked face try to reason his way out of this payback is just as well served.
What package would you like?
I just want to go to the 22nd floor.
The silver package, which takes you to the 20th floor, but you have to walk the last 2 floors. Or I can give you the gold package, but that's not available till September of next year. Bronze package, for every floor we go up, we go down too, so that one takes a while.
This would have been ruined if this was Wabbit, because in Wabbit, it would have often started around here when it comes to Bugs messing around with someone, and you wouldn't have had that fire to watch them suffer. Also the animation, oh geez, something is wrong there. While Bugs rightfully terrorizes Cecil, Tina's manager, after working 1 day with the customers of his place, gives Tina her job back, saying that her method is perfect, and that he had no idea how hard it is to deal with certain people. All is well in the world when snarky people can snark. So hamming it up to 10, Cecil finds a dark room, apparently where he works. And originally I thought this was going to finally rope back in the turtle trait of him being slow, because the episode never plays around with the cliche of turtles being slow. So I thought, you know, maybe he's climbing a lot of stairs here. When he gets to the top, it's dark because everyone went home, but no, it's dark for another reason. Bugs in the underwater welder uniform acts as a traveling time messenger, telling Cecil that his heinous actions in the past have drastically ruined the future, where now there is no more customer service because Looney had made a stand, and customer service is a thing of the past. However, he can fix it by giving this wrong customer his cable back.
Don't you need to take me back in time in order for this to work?
For a bunch of time travel reasons that you wouldn't understand, we're gonna do it this way.
But...
Just hurry! The time hole is closing!
oh no, the time hole!
Time travel. So confusing and full of holes. Cecil has fallen for this hook, shell, and sinker, as he not only restores Bugs' cable, but adds extra stuff. I guess you can question the fact that if Cecil turns off a random person's cable package every week, isn't he making the company less money? And Bugs is adding on more packages, so he's gonna have to pay more anyway. But let's sweep all of that under the rug. Daffy, in his pursuit of firing, ends up firing Cecil, which means that everyone is fired, including Daffy. I guess Bugs should have told him about the wonders of being a human resources manager. I think that's one of the plots of King of the Hill. It involved Dale, I think? However, let's get to why this works for me. I'll take an older review I did, where it's pretty mixed. Squirrel jokes, in my Chef Bob versus Squirrel Jokes review. So in that episode, the reason why I'm so uncomfortable with the ending is because the general idea of it is that a character has to basically succumb to what's happening in order to fix it, and it doesn't fix it. While yes, Sandy's exaggerated portrayal of herself convinced SpongeBob to knock it off with the squirrel jokes, the episode does not go out of its way to portray that the town equally understood, because it was the town that caused Sandy's mood to change, not just SpongeBob. So while the town for the most part sees Sandy as a stereotype, the episode just has an uneasy ending for me. Here, Cecil is very mean and unlikable as a character, and in the end, he's dealt with. And it is equally as clear to see that the people around him also don't like him. They are not fond of him. He leaves defeated, fired, and humiliated, and Bugs is avenged for all the trouble that was caused to him. There's an ending there. Now, if this episode followed Squirrel Joke's writing logic, Bugs would get his cable turned on maybe by another representative, by hamming up his desperation to 150%. However, Cecil would still have a job, making people miserable, and everyone around him would be okay with that. That doesn't sound as enjoyable as this execution. The episode ends with all of them watching the soap opera that I mentioned before, and Bugs can always wait until next year to watch the playoffs uninterrupted, hopefully, and that was customer service. It was an overall fun and fantastic episode that has a great antagonist that isn't used often. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed these revisits to the Looney Tunes show. Big thanks to the supporters of November, and if you want to watch my last Looney Tunes show review, click here. Until then, Take care. Alpha out.